is any interest in any of the programs, this will help provide the Common Council with the data as to why you're saying we're looking to reduce X. We don't think we need to do Y, and here's the results, here's why that information is.
Well, if we get $500 million worth of development, well, we'll be all right.
That would be one way to do it, but $500 million of development is not knocking on the door currently.
Dare to dream, Chuck, dare to dream.
So, any questions?
Yeah, what's the cost?
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Last year when we were looking at this, the company was a standalone company, and the Center for Priority-Based Budgeting, and they're still in existence. I think they were charging us about $47,000 plus travel costs. They have now partnered with this Resource X. It is all online, so it's virtual support. There's support documents. Most of the work will be done in-house by staff and then forwarded over to them for review and everything else. So to do it that way, the cost is now $20,000 to establish it. And then there's $15,000 per year ongoing maintenance costs. That's for this, all this is hosted on their side. So we don't have all this data like right here where we're having storage space and everything else. It's all out there. That provides the resource to all those other communities and what they're doing. And then any annual support and ongoing maintenance with the program. The one caveat with the $15,000 a year is they're locking that in for each of the first 3 years. They're not, and that's for us. We're not locked in for 3 years, but the price is locked in for up to 3 years on an annual recurring maintenance fee if we choose to move forward with that. If, however, they expand their business to the point where they're able to reduce those costs, we get that new price. We get the better of the two. So.
And how much personnel is it gonna take to run this program on our part?
Well, once it's established, it won't take anything.
It's gotta be established though.
Right. So any of us that are doing budgets are going to have to break out, and they'll give us the list. Like you saw, that was just the law enforcement one there. That was an example of that. They have those for any of the departments, any of the things we do. So there will be some initial work. I sat in on that webinar I was talking about last week on Friday. We send them our budget first, and they build a template to kind of get the process started. Then we look and we say, okay, yep, we're doing this, we're doing that, and we start to allocate the full-time equivalent employees. We'll take dispatch. We've got 6 full-time equivalent employees in dispatch. That's a pretty straight one, 6.0 FTE. If we have people coming in, officers coming in to overfill or whatever else, maybe it's 6.4 in a year. That will have to be established. But then the people that are put to that, it's all cross-referenced on our side with the wages and salaries and all that. So all that stuff that was in that first list of, just turn it on. That was in the first list where it talked about your salaries, overtime, FICA, Medicare. All that gets pulled in, just the personnel cost itself. And then on the other side of the bracket will be any other non-personnel costs, your office supplies, your electricity, or anything else that's going to go along with that. Once that's set up in the first year, all it is just an autofill. And then we just update. Just, if there's an increase in cost or salary or whatever it might be, and that just gets autofilled then too. So, how much employee time, staff time is it going to take? It's going to depend on the individual.
In the
Some
department.
people, yeah.
Size.
How many programs are there? How many people are able to do that, or how well do you know Excel?
So each department is gonna be responsible for setting it up then, their part of
For
it?
their section.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they'll be responsible for just double, entering their section, making sure that all makes sense. And then, I'd be looking at working with Martin on the rest of it to, just kind of the main stuff, getting it all fed in.
It just seems like every time we start another program, we've got more employees coming online.
No, this would not be adding any employees.
Okay.
The overall result, and I'm not saying it's going to reduce employees. However, if we're looking at services that we do not need, and the effect of that is we don't need the full-time equivalent employees, we wouldn't look to fill employees, or we wouldn't look, you know, and that doesn't mean that any of these services we eliminate like that.
Well, it can also mean that we bring on a new program and we reallocate what that person
Those
was
resources,
doing. Yes.
right.
I mean,
Yep.
it could shift that way too.
Yeah, exactly. There are a lot of ways that this could all work, and it's all really dependent upon how the council wants to make that work. So, you know, we need to identify which of these services we're going to do and then allocate those resources towards it. Once that part is all set up, the maintenance is much simpler. But the amount of information that you all have to make the critical decisions that need to be made, this is the type of stuff that we just, you know, we can have myself or Bridget or Fred say, well, yeah, we think we can do this and we don't need this anymore. What are we basing it on?
And that's what I like. This is fact-based.
Yes.
You know, instead of having someone own their own personal opinion or personal agenda, this is fact-based, and I think that's something that we can really use to back up our decisions to ourselves, to city employees, to the departments, and to the community as well. It's something that we've been lacking, you know, and this is something that could definitely help with that.
Right. That's what I think. And all of this information here, these toggles, these filters, are all at the control of the individual council members, the staff members. You know, this is the side that you would see as elected officials. All the other stuff that goes into those scores, you know, we can definitely print off sheets, but that's the back side.
Yeah.
This is the front side that you would see.
The thing that I would have a concern over is that if I'm a department head,
Mm-hmm.
I might be protective of my stuff, my program, and therefore I'm not gonna rate anything very low in that fourth quartile. So somebody else has to come in,
Yep.
step in and say
Thank you.
that this is not as important as you think it
Yep. The scoring, thank you for reminding me of that, is actually done what they call a peer scoring. So it's not necessarily Fred that's rating his categories. It would be any other staff that would be doing those ratings. And now he would do his own first, but then there's a peer review that that fact checks it.
Yeah.
So let's say the economic development one. Martin, you put a 4 for mandated business attraction and expansion assistance is mandated. Where is that? You know, now this committee maybe it was, maybe that's a function of the city, but for us it wouldn't be. So hey, Martin, sorry, you know that's something we want. It's a 2. You know, at best it's a 2. And then it'd be kind of cross with that. So.
And that concept's kind of ingrained in the current incremental system, protecting your budget and such, which this will help us get away from that.
Yeah.
is.
And that's the other part where I say having a resource, resource X, helps with that as well. It's not just me, it's not just the council, it's, there's another filter that can kind of help double cross-reference those scores.
And it's an ongoing process. You're looking at a 3-year contract, or is it a 4-year contract? Initial and then 15,000 each. So this is a gradual trend towards actually forever, isn't it? I mean not forever, but
Yeah. Yes.
number of years.
The council can use this anyway. In fact, I was talking to the gentleman earlier today, and I'm like, okay, well, the way quartiles work, we start eliminating the stuff on the bottom. All it is going to shift the numbers. And he said, yeah, you're exactly right. If you want to do it that way. What most communities are currently doing that use this is they lock in. So if your fourth quartile is at 25.82, they leave that in there. And you're going to have programs that are under that. You want to get them above it. And once you get them above it, you might lock in that fourth quartile, and that's how you're measuring your success.
Mhm.
So you start eliminating all those programs that are down here,
Mhm.
and at some point you may want to rescore them and move. That's your continuous improvement is what you want for the community. And so now, yeah, you're going to start to do that if you rescore them, but we don't have to. Where do we want to do it? And I'd say at first we'd probably start that way, is saying we're just going to lock these in so we can show there's some success there.
Is there, can you answer this question? Are the groups, the cities or counties that have done this, what seems to be the most common thing that's in that? Get rid of quartile. Is there kind of a,
No,
Nothing
there's-
in
I
common.
think that would vary so much
Yeah.
depending on the community.
yeah,
I
it
mean,
probably does, I don't know, that's
Yeah.
why I asked if
the
there's
4 or
anything-
5 priorities that each community chooses it'll be different because of what we're choosing. That would be,
Well, and even how they define them, like how they define safety, because you said that
Right.
there's so many
Yeah.
things. Well, we could define safety completely different than Broadhead would, or, you know,
Yes.
Verona, or, you know,
I mean, that's a
Yeah.
good answer then for that, because San Jose doesn't worry about snow removal.
right, yeah.
right.
But
So
I
thinking about
just
that,
wondered if all of a sudden there seems to be a commonality in some of these communities that we might recognize too, but there really
Yeah, I
isn't,
think it'd be,
everybody's different.
yeah, I think it'd be so different, because you'll have communities, maybe for us it is the garbage issue, well, they're already outsourcing that, so for them that's not an issue at
Yeah,
all.
Yeah,
You know, it could,
sure.
yeah.
Now, there's, the estimation of time frame that they gave is anywhere from about 9 to 12 weeks is what they're seeing through this, through this virtual process. There's some back and forth where we send them information, they send some stuff back. We tweak whatever we need to tweak and enter data, we send it back. And there's all of that, and it's going 9 to 12 weeks. So if this is approved and approved by council, ideally we'd want to get started sooner rather than later here. I think to make the most sense, the scoring or the categories that would be chosen would be by the council elected in April. And scores are done, we'd have that information before June with the 2017 data.
Mhm.
Then it feeds in for 2018, and we have the starting point for going into the 2018 budget. And then if we're looking at any of these difficult decisions, there's data there to back it up and to help make those tough decisions as far as what might need to be made. Or to justify to the public, let's say it's an opposite, all the services are great and we need to go out for an operating referendum. There's evidence to prove why that would be that.
I mean, I like priority-based budgeting, my big issue before was the cost. I mean, it was a pretty hefty price tag associated with that, but with this being less than half of that cost, I mean, honestly, I think it's something we need to look at. I mean, when you provided us with a list of how high our tax rate is compared to other communities, I mean, we've been hearing it from people for a long time and feeling it. You know, it deters people from buying property because the taxes are so high here compared to other communities. And if we can look to, you know, whittle away at that number somewhat, I think that would help the community as a whole.
My only concern is, like, you talked about garbage. Like, no, if we eliminated our garbage pickup, somebody else would have to pick it up.
Hmm?
The residents of the city are still gonna have to pay that cost, it's just not gonna show on their tax bill. So how do you make that show? They're still paying for it.
Correct.
Probably said the same or maybe more.
Correct. Okay, well, let's take the garbage example in here. Okay, so is it a mandated program to provide? No, so that's gonna be a low,
Not mandated, but
that would be a low score there. However, cost recovery of the program, right now we're covering 100% of that.
yeah.
So that's gonna score 4. That'll kind of balance out a little bit there. Change in demand for service, people still want it, it hasn't changed at
Yeah.
all. That'd be a mid-range there. Reliance on the city to provide the service, yeah, they're reliant on the city to provide that service right now. So that would be high. Safe city, well, probably mid-range, you know, it's not having the garbage all over the place, you can make an argument. Prosperous economy, sustainable city, vibrant, attractive, vibrant community, that'll score high there, you know, so the scores come out and maybe the garbage service is going to be, say, a Q2 or Q3. It's not gonna be a Q4 most likely because of some of those where it's lower scores, but I certainly don't think it would be a Q1 or a Q4, I'm sorry, where we'd be looking to
Yeah.
eliminate it. And we don't only have to pick Q4s. This might be something where we look at, okay, well, here's where the scores are, and it's something that we find a different or better way to accommodate. Maybe we still do it, but we contract with somebody to do it. The cost is still there, we're still collecting through the utility bills and everything else, but we're not, if our costs are lower, we'd be able to see that then.
Yeah.
Essentially what we'd be doing is shifting the personnel and non-personnel costs all to non-personnel costs. And is that combined cost going to be less than what we're doing it
Well, and
ourselves?
you're looking at the vehicles, I mean, the cost of new,
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things that even if we just, you know, did it outsourced, that it would shift the whole dynamic of it, so.
Correct.
But you know, we're providing 100% of the service now.
We are providing 100% of the residential service, yes.
Yeah. So if we cut it in half by sourcing it out and still putting it on the tax roll, what's it changing?
It changes a lot, because now you don't have the cost of the employees if you're outsourcing it. So either they can be used in other ways, or maybe it's I hate to say it, but maybe it's an opportunity to reduce staffing.
But we're still gonna pay employees of the company that's doing the work, that's where.
Well, we pay the contract,
We pay the
right?
contract,
We're
yeah.
paying the contract.
But that's
so-
where you
so
have
the
to look with
contract- And the contract gonna have some profit in it, or we aren't figuring a profit in ours. So that's what I gotta, I wanna be very careful how we go about this.
Yeah, and that's, all this does is provide, data points that you can look at. And the discussions can be a little more fuller, we'll say, because you're looking at what the actual costs are going into the garbage. When we brought this up last time about looking at outsourcing, there were at least a couple council members that were questioning numbers that staff put forward.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but there isn't anything that we have to back that up necessarily, except for what work we did and the budget and what numbers we had and what we were putting in and out. This will still do the same budget numbers, but it'll also help define where those priorities fit with the city. And if it's a high priority, let's say dare I bring it up, cleanup days is one that was high in demand and, people wanted to have the city do and everything. But some of these other things, I think, would probably score low, where, now you're looking at the cost compared to the priority. When you're sitting in your chairs, you now can say, hey, listen, this provided very little value to the overall city. There were individual people that really loved it and really took advantage of it. That was the fifth one, okay. Thank you. The fifth one was the percentage of the population that's served by whatever service it is. So cleanup days, small percentage, it's gonna have a small score there.
One thing I look at it is, and I'm not throwing Marge under the bus, but like,
She's here.
hi Marge. I think this would be a great I didn't even know you were here. Like, but for you, because I think you have programs, so you can look at the programs, and I'm sure you do this already, but this will give more substantiality to those numbers that you have. Like, and maybe you'll say, oh wow, I thought this one was more profitable than it really is, and is it only helping 10 people? I mean, are we making money or losing money? Is it cost effective? And
Yeah, we do that every
and I know you do, but this is the first thing that really came to mind were your programs, because you have so many of them, and I know you have eliminated some over the years, but this is, you definitely stuck out here because
Right.
you have so many programs,
And you make $90,000 a year, and you contribute $90,000.
Yeah, but there might be one that maybe she really loves and thinks it's great, but when we start looking at it a little bit more, maybe it's like, oh, that really doesn't benefit the community as much as we think it should.
Well,
It could be
Well,
on
we go
TV,
through
it could
this-
be anywhere,
Yeah,
you know.
I know.
I'm not picking on Marge.
I know you're not.
No,
Well,
no, I
but here's-
understand.
this is a good point though. Okay, so you're not picking a margin in this situation, but let's say we need to trim $50,000.
Yeah,
And where's that $50,000 going to come from? Is it going to come from general police or fire department, public safety? Or does it typically look to the arts and rec